welcome to Let's Play Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit, Episode 11, and where it is now time for us to enter the closing stages of the knockout competition, because by the skin of my teeth, I've made it through to the 5th round.
Congratulations! You've qualified for the next round of knockout competition.
And I think overall from this point, it is going to be notoriously difficult for me to make these next couple of rounds. I mean, I think it's going to be impossible to beat Ice in this class, but if I can at least place second, then I'll probably be satisfied. Anyways, let's head over to race number 6, which has taken place at... Isn't it Lost Canyons? Oh, okay, it's Country Woods. Yeah, Country Woods first, and then it's Lost Canyons. And how convenient. I am starting at the back. Which is going to make this even more imperative that I avoid finishing last. Okay, I need to have no mistakes whatsoever. And now that I've said that, I probably am going to be making all the mistakes in the world. Well, every mistake that is probably known to exist in the history of humanity. But overall, I can assure you, knockout mode for me has been anything but easy. I mean, for me to make it this far into the competition already is a miracle. But for me to think that I'm actually ahead of one of the Jags at the moment is even more remarkable. Fuck. No, at least I can say I didn't get overtaken. Oh yeah, I forgot about these 90-degree corners. And I'm basically going to have to rely on the mistakes of others if I'm going to make it through this round. If you want my personal opinion. I mean, I would literally be shocked if I managed to make it past the penultimate round of the knockout competition. And yet, to actually win in the final round, that literally would be a miracle. And surprisingly, Ice at the moment is not leading this thing. So Blazing is behind me. Meanwhile, I am currently holding on to 3rd. And, yep, already hitting top speed. Even though this is, of course, the road car.
It's the final lap!
Anyways, final lap, as of which it's only 2 laps around each of these circuits. And of course I am having to use the brakes a lot more than I usually would, because I really cannot afford to bottle this, but at the very least I can definitely say that the progression I've been making has more or less been gradual. Just basically trying my hardest to move up and up in the order. I have no idea how I managed to save it when it was airborne. I almost thought for sure that was going to eliminate me, but apparently it didn't. I was probably the luckiest man alive to get away with that jump. And The jag behind me, he did try and take me out, but unfortunately he did not persevere. Cheaters never prosper, also I've heard from Sean Connery. And up to this point it'll be a miracle if I do manage to get past the penultimate round, because I think up to this point I've already served my purpose. And I guess it's only really the final round that I have to worry about winning. But I don't think the guys in front of me are going to make a mistake. But again, it'll surprise me if I manage to make it through to the final round. It really will. Because knockout competition, even on the beginner difficulty, has been almost impossible for me to try and win. But we'll just wait and see to be sure.
That's your best lap. You placed third.
Alright, I've made it through to the penultimate round. And I've also beaten one of the jacks for only the second time in.
Congratulations! You've got a top 10 time for this track.
For this competition. So, setting another top 10 time.
Congratulations! You've got a top 10 time for this track.
Don't know what exactly just happened there, but anyways. Don't know what exactly happened just there, but wow. Apparently, Mom set the best overall time around this circuit, and oddly enough, I was not too far off the lap record set by Kinkst, who apparently holds the best overall lap time. So yeah. And oddly enough, some of these lap times were set in knockout competition as well. But again, I've successfully made it through to the next round. And well, you know what, I'm gonna record the replay on the next one if I succeed.
Congratulations! You've qualified for the next round of knockout competition.
Fortuitously. So, let's head over to the next round and see if we can manage to not fail. Because it will surprise me greatly if I don't manage to make the final cut, and this time we're heading over to the summit. And from what I could tell, I'm pretty sure Ice will end up dominating this race, but
2, 1, go!
It will surprise me if I do manage to make it past this round and then win in the final round. Well, I guess whoever's at the back of the pack, or at least behind the leader, the AI basically just tend to get less superior as the championship goes along, I think. So basically what it is I need to do is I need to focus on staying above last position, and then I might be able to succeed once I head through to the final round if I'm lucky. And yes, I am relying purely on luck to get me through to the final round. Well, at least I can say whoever is behind the leader, or at least whoever the last placed car is in this tournament compared to the player, well, besides the player of course. I can at least say that it's been getting easier and easier for me to pull off the overtakes, more or less. And Ice has once again just gone on an absolute tear. So, there might still be a chance in saying I can make the final cut, but dependent on knowing if I will or won't make the final cut remains to be seen. Because Ice has clearly been on an absolute tear compared to the rest of us in terms of overall lap time. And even though it's only really the final race that matters the most in the knockout competition, the truth is, Ice has basically won every other race up to this point. It's more or less like the NASCAR playoffs, you know, where it's basically, where it basically just comes down to whoever the final 4 drivers are, and yet it's basically only really the final race that counts towards the final overall results. That's more or less what I think this is. This is more or less like the NASCAR playoffs, is what to me thinks. Which oddly enough I think is precisely what this championship series more or less is. Well, at least I can say I'm staying ahead of Bullet, which is the important part of this predicament.
It's the final lap.
And I think as far as I know, Ice has basically won every race up to this point. So that's gonna probably make him even harder to beat. For the final race than it was in this race. But yeah, I mean it's basically just winner take all, I guess is all it really is. I mean ironically enough that was exactly what Kyle Busch and Joey Logano managed to both achieve when they made the Final Four in 2015 and 18, where they were basically the underdogs going into that race, and then, ironically enough, they wound up winning both of those races as well as the championship. So it's basically winner takes all in the final race. For the knockout competition, it's just pure elimination, is what this really is. And I really cannot afford to make any major mistakes now, because Bullet is right on my ass. And the one thing that's going to make this even more difficult to succeed with is the fact I'm saying that Ice is once again on an absolute tear. And I would imagine for wherever the final round is going to be, that's more or less going to be the same, is what me thinks. So that of course is probably going to make this even more important, basically now more than ever. It's crucially important that I make it through. Just really need to try and thread that needle to get through to the final round, which is basically what I'm saying. But we'll just have to wait and see to be sure. I mean, I will probably be the luckiest man alive if I manage to win the final race, in my honest opinion.
That's your best lap. You placed second.
Alright, I've made it through to the final round, and Bullet has been eliminated.
Congratulations! You beat the best time for this track.
So there we go. I've made it through to the final round of the knockout competition by the skin of my teeth. And, ironically enough, I set the best overall lap time around this circuit for the 2-lap dash. And at a top speed of 175 miles per hour. And an average lap speed of pretty much 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And it was also in knockout mode. So, let's now record the replay. Since that is one thing that I've not managed to do for this segment so far. But yeah, overall, I would say I've been very lucky up to this point to make it to the final round. But again, the format of this competition is the fact of how it's more or less just pure elimination. And the fact I'm saying that the final race is more or less winner takes all. Yeah, I still don't know how to honk my horn, so I'm not going to end up doing that. But anyways, I've been very fortunate to make it this far. In the championship overall. Okay, I think that should do it for the replay shots. I think I got something that will be adequate enough for this segment. And next time, we shall be moving onwards to the final round, and where that will take place, you'll just have to stay tuned to find out. Anyways, stay tuned for part 4 of the knockout competition.